Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is n8n. If you want to go viral with short form content without editing for hours, then in this tutorial I'll show you how to build an AI powered agent in n8n that automatically creates and publishes miniature style short videos that are highly shareable and perfect for platforms like YouTube Shorts, TikTok and Instagram Reels. In this tutorial you learn how to use AI to generate these unique miniature style visuals, automate the entire video creation process in editing in n8n, and then post the content on autopilot with smart scheduling. You'd also be able to create short videos that are designed to go viral. This AI agent combines creativity and automation so that you can consistently post engaging, bite-sized content without lifting a finger. This is perfect for faceless channels, meme pages, or shorts creators looking to scale with AI. Let's get started. As usual, I'm going to walk you through how the entire workflow works, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I built it. So the first part of my workflow, that's with like a schedule trigger. You can also schedule this if you want. You can have like a manual trigger, or you could have a different kind of trigger in here. I decided to go with a schedule trigger. The next step of my workflow involves generating the video elements. And when I talk about the video elements, what I mean is the image prompts, the video prompts, the title, stuff like that. So I'm connecting this to OpenAI chat model, and really this would basically like dynamically create a new concept all over again anytime it's being triggered. And then the next part of my workflow is where I generate the image. So I'm using the Google APIs to generate the image. Image is generated in a base 64 strength, so I convert the file in here. Further down is where I generate the videos. I leverage the n8n I have to generate a video, and mind you, if you want to make this as a YouTube short or a TikTok short video or an Instagram reel, then know that the layout you're going for is 9:16. So that's the same thing I have in here. And then once the video is generated, I just get it ready and then I post it on YouTube. But before I post it on YouTube, I do have a human in the loop in here. So I send it to myself, to my email for review first, and if I like it, that's when I go ahead and allow it to be posted directly onto YouTube. So I have a human in the loop here. It's actually best practice to always include a human in the loop. In terms of the video generation model I'm using Runway ML to generate the videos. And yeah, so as usual, I'm gonna leave the templates for this as well in the comment section below so that you can also go check it out and try it out and let me know. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd encourage you to do so. I do tutorials on the latest AI tools. I create a lot of like AI agents on my channel. Or if you're new to AI in general, then this channel is a great place for you to get familiarized with AI and get started and become an expert. Now that I have showed you how this workflow works, I'm just going to show you how an output of this works. I'm sure you would have already seen it in the beginning of the tutorial, but then I'm still going to show you how one output looks like. So let's get started. The first step, like I mentioned, I'm going to be using a schedule trigger. So you select a schedule trigger, and in the schedule trigger you can add as many rules as possible. So if you want to be posting multiple times a day, you can add multiple rules in here. This is just for the purposes of the tutorial, so I'm not going to be specific in here. But I'm going to add in AI agent here. For the AI agent, I'm going to say define below, and then I'm going to also include a system prompt. So I'm going to scroll down. For the prompt user, I'm just going to say respond to the system message below. So in terms of options, I'm just going to add in a system message, and I'm going to add this exact message. So I'm going to say you are a creative director specializing in fun, single scene miniature video animation prompts for short form content on platforms like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Your job is to generate a visual storytelling prompt for a 30 to 60 second vertical video in 9:16 format, and matching image generation prompts for use with AI n8n models to visualize or storyboard the scene in vertical 9:16 layout format. And I've given some specific details on how the visual should look like. Like I mentioned, I'm going to drop this in the comment section below so that you can also download it and try it out. I'm not going to read everything out. I'm not adding any additional options, but the next step after here is now add in the chat model. Like I mentioned before, I'm using the OpenAI chat model for this, and I'm just going to stick with 4 or mini. And then in terms of memory, I'm just going to use a simple memory node in here. In order to know, I'm going to click on define below for the key. In order to give the key and everything in here, all I'm going to do first is I'm going to save this. And I'm gonna, as it ships this workflow, it's gonna fill, but what I need is just important information so that I can drag them in there. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna come into the memory node, and I'm just gonna use the timestamp as key. If you're gonna be doing this in production, I would recommend using the timestamp as key. Maybe you could have a counter that would sort of dynamically generate a timestamp for you. If I come into the AI agent, I want to have like a specific output, okay? So I'm going to put that on and take unstructured output parser. And then here, I'm going to put in the exact format of the JSON I need. So this is the exact format of the JSON I need. And then now that we have our AI model working fine for us, I'm just going to test it at this point. So I'm going to save this, then I'm going to test this workflow, and let's see what we get as an output. If everything is working fine, then we good. Okay, so this is looking good right now. So you'd see that we have our title, we have our concept, we have our scene description generated for us, we have our town music, and we have the video format as well. So this is all good. This is working fine for us. So I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to move on to the next stage. So the next stage is really where we generate our images. And for that, like I mentioned, I'm going to be using the Google API. I'm going to select an HTTP node here. And then it's going to be a post. I'm going to leave a link to the API documentation below so you can go check it out. But really what you need is you need to enter your API key. If you go into the API documentation, these are things that are required. So you need to put in a prompt. Gentle the prompt. I'm just going to be using the image generation prompts that we got from the previous section. So I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to use the image generation prompt. So, and then see what other things are needed in here for the parameters. So all we need is the image generation prompt, and I'm just going to use convert move base 64 string to file, and then in here I'll put in the output we get. So in order to get the output, all I have to do is I need to execute this workflow. So I'm going to execute a workflow, and let's see what we get. Okay, so we have the base 64 generated for us. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to drag this in here as the input for it. And now if I should activate this node and I run it, you'd see that the file has been converted for us. Oh, there's another, we have the file converted for us. I'm going to open this. All right, so this is what we have now. So I'm going to go back to our canvas. And now that we have our image generated for us and everything, we're going to store this image in Google Drive. In Google Drive, I created a folder and I called it images. So I'm just going to store this file in there. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on upload file. And in terms of, we're going to be using data, but in terms of the file title, the AI agents gave us a title. So that's where we're going to be using. And in terms of where we want to store this, like I mentioned, I already have the folder I've created, which I've called images. So that's where I'm going to be storing this. And yeah, I'm not going to add in any additional options. Then I'll click on save. Now that this has been saved, what I want to do is, because I would want to access it again, I'm going to share this file so that it's accessible. I'm going to click on share file. I'm going to select again. I'm going to select the exact file I want. And this exact file was generated from the previous step. So the previous step would give you an ID for the file. So that's exactly what we're going to be using. So let's come back up here. So that's all we'll be using. We'll just drag the ID in here. And then in terms of permissions, we're going to say reader, and we're saying anyone can read it. The reason why we are doing this is because we want to be able to use the file data on. Now we've shared the file and everything. The next step for us is to generate the video. And like I mentioned, for the video generation part, I'm using Runway ML. So in order to do so, you need to connect this to an HTTP node. So you come in here, you add in an HTTP node. And when you add in an HTTP node, if you go into the Runway ML API documentation, if you look at what you need in terms of like the API reference, what we are trying to do is you're trying to generate a video from text, from an image. So what we are trying to do is going to be using this exact call code. So you come in here and then copy the exact call code, and then you paste it in your HTTP node. I could have been able to generate the image from here as well, but I decided to use a Google API because that's free, and I like to use a lot of like open source documentation. Okay, so from our previous step, while looking at the API reference, you realize that you need your API keys, you need to mention the version you want, you need to have the prompt image, and the prompt image is what we got from our previous step, which we've already stored in Google Drive. So our prompt image is really our web content link, which is here. So I'm going to come in here to the web content link, scroll down, So this is our web content link. So this is all you're gonna do. I'm just gonna drive this in here. Right now we don't see any images because it hasn't landed yet. In terms of our prompt text, we're just gonna be using the scene description that was generated from the AI agent. So I'm gonna come in here, then I'm gonna drive the same description in here. Let me add in a wait node because it takes about 2 minutes to generate the video. So I'm just going to use a wait node and I'm going to use, let's say, 2 minutes. And then after the video has been generated, the output of this node will be an ID. So what we really want to do is we want to get the details of the video. We are going to be using an HTTP node again to connect with the Runway ML API. And if we come back into the API documentation in here, you'd see that if we want to get like details of the video, you're using the get task details. So all you need is to copy this call code and then you paste it in your HTTP node. So this is what we have in here. We put in a JSON ID, which is going to be what we would get from the previous step. And then we have to put in an API key as well. And yeah, so I'm going to execute it up until this point, and then we'll see whether our video is generated for us. Okay, so our workflow has completed successfully. As you can see, we have our video already generated for us here. So up until this point, everything seems to be working fine. So this is how the video looks. See, this is so cool, right? Okay, still now let's move on. Now we have our video generated for us. All we have to do is store it in Google Drive and then get it ready to be posted on YouTube. Okay, so we're going to add in an if-else statement and see that if the status of this video is equal to succeeded, then the next step is to just store this in Google Drive. So we're going to store this in Google Drive. So we'll upload it to Google Drive. We didn't get it in the format Google Drive wants in the past, so we need to first download it off the internet. Okay, so in order to download this off the internet, we are going to be using an HTTP node. So again, you click on the plus button and select an HTTP node. In the HTTP node, all we need is a get, and we're going to be using the output from the previous node. So in order to get the output from the previous node, we just have to use the JSON.output 0, which is in here. If you come in here, we have output 0, and then this is gonna generate it and store it in a file called video file. So now this file would be able to be uploaded onto Google Drive. So if I come into Google Drive and I click on upload file now, in terms of the input file data, it's gonna be video file. Now clean this. It's gonna be good. So we just come and copy this here as video file. The file title would be the same title we have for the previous section, which is what we got from the AI agent. Okay, put their file title here. And then in terms of where we want to store this, I already had a folder in my Google Drive, which I've called video. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I'm not going to be adding any properties. And then once I have this, because I want to access it later on, I'm also going to share a file. So I'm just going to select Google Drive, and then I'm going to be using the share file node. And then from the list, I'm going to be using by ID because you're going to be getting the ID from the previous steps. So I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to drag in the ID here. And in terms of the permission, I'm just also going to keep it as reader, and I'll see anyone can read it. And now that we have this shared, the next step for us is we want to have a human in the loop, like I mentioned. It's a good practice to add human in the loop. So I'm just going to add in a Gmail node so that I get notified anytime this has been created. So I'm going to say send message and wait for a response. And for this, I'm going to be sending it to my email, which is lalenipapaship@gmail.com. And then the subject is going to be approval required. The message, I'm going to use this exact message. I'm just saying that a new shot is ready for posting on your YouTube. Here's the scene description, which is the scene description we got from the previous step. And also, here's the link to the video that is going to be posted. And then I'm going to add an if-else mode here. So since this is going to be a Boolean, if I prove this true, do this. If I prove this false, do that. I'm going to come in here, and if false, I'd say do nothing. So I'm going to use the no operation nog in here so that if it's false, it's not going to do anything. If it's true, this is where I want it to actually post to YouTube. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to click on upload a video, and the title is going to be the title from the first step. Let's select the region code first. So I'm going to say Canada. That's my region code. Category, I'm just gonna keep it as entertainment. And then better field is gonna be beta. In order for me to post onto YouTube, I need it to come in as a binary cell. So I need to add in a download node here from Google Drive again. So in this case, I just want to download a file, and the file I want to download would be from I'm going to use from by ID, and the ID will be given to us from the previous test. So because I've not run it, I don't have the ID yet. So as an expression, I'm going to be using this exact phrase for the IB. For the title, I'm going to use the title I got from the previous step, which is from the AI agent. And at this point, I think I have everything ready to go. So I'm just going to save this now. And if I should run this entire flow, you'd see that it'll be posted on my YouTube channel. So let's see. So this is waiting for me now to approve. As you can see, this is a link to the video that has been generated. I'm gonna just open that as well so that you have an idea of what we are approving. So if I play, this is the video that I get in. Oh, cool. So I'm gonna provide my approval because this is so cool. Now that I've approved it, if I go back, see that this has been posted onto YouTube for us now. So if I go into my YouTube channel line now, I come back into Shock, you'd see that this has been posted for us. This is looking good, really good, guys. So yeah, that is it for today's tutorial. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna leave the link to this in the description box or in the comment section below so that you can go download the template. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. See you in the next one.